In your wanderings, you stumble upon a ruined temple buried deep within the heart of the forest. Wary, you continue on through thick overgrowth until you see a clearing that was once an ancient cathedral built by people, now rebuilt by nature itself. In the center is a preserved altar, stacked with various dice of all shapes and colors. As you contemplate what this means, a cloaked figure approaches from the shadows.
Welcome, brave adventurer. Have you come to roll the dice? Explore strange new worlds with new strange rules? If you seek adventure worthy of being shared with good friends, you have come to the right place. Just roll for initiative.
Welcome to the Nat One Nerds podcast.
Welcome to the table, everyone.
Hey guys, welcome back to Nat One Nerds, and we're excited to finally bring you to the One Ring play session.
Yeah, our actual play session where we actually get to try out the system ourselves, which is, in my opinion, always the best part of this whole podcast.
So before we begin, we would like to remind you guys that we are also new to the system. We're exploring it with everyone else. So if we make mistakes, we apologize, but feel free to reach out to us with improvements you have for us. And those who know the system better than us, we'd love to hear from you about how you think we did.
That's the best part of the TTRPG community, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Would everybody like to reintroduce their characters and who's playing them?
So my character's name is Geniveve. She's a Ranger of the North, and she's captain. She's pretty good telling stories.
Nice.
So that was Savannah. I'm Brandon. My character, Hanar, is a dwarf of Durin folk, and he is a wandering poet who's trying to get away from his wife.
Hi, so I'm Afton, and I am playing an elf from Lindon. Her name is Elanor, one of the two, however you want to pronounce it, I guess. And I guess we'll find out. We'll meet her.
And I am Parker, and I will be your Loremaster for tonight's session. Well, is everybody ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
Sure. Yep.
Awesome. In the land of Middle-earth, during the late Third Age, the dragon Smog, way in Erebor, also known as Lonely Mountain, has been perished for not too long. The dwarves of Durin's folk have reclaimed their homeland there, and a dwarven king once again sits upon the throne of Durin's line. But if we go west from there, across the Misty Mountains, we reach the northwestern section of Middle-earth. Probably one of the quieter sections, but nonetheless filled with ancient lore, riddle, and peoples. Therein lies the region of Eriador, once encompassed long, long ago by the ancient kingdom of Arnor. Once the sister kingdom to the kingdom of Gondor, and also once ruled by the High King Elendil and the High King Isildur. But that was long ago, back in a different age of the world. And so, we focus our attention in Eriador, but not too far into Eriador. For there, approaching the last homely house, lies three companions seeking refuge at the house of Elrond, otherwise known as Rivendell. It is a dwarf, a woman, and an elven maiden. Two of which are friends, one of which just joined them. What are you guys doing?
Well, I guess whatever I can to avoid getting told off by the women around here. Anyone know where we got some ale? I know the elves have some good stuff.
My character just rolls her eyes.
My character will kind of look around, as it's probably been a little while since she's been in Rivendell. So she's looking around to kind of just send... to find, kind of a place to get ale or something like that.
It is nearing nightfall, but you are then stopped by what appears to be a tall humanoid who asks you to halt in the Sindarian tongue. Two of which you speak, one who does not.
I'm assuming the girls know it?
Yes.
Oh, I was like,
We're supposed to guess.
Who speak it?
So, I don't know anything. What's the Sindarian tongue?
The Sindarian tongue is the Elven tongue.
Oh, okay. So, like, my native language.
Yes.
Gotcha.
You would know it very well.
And all he said was just halt?
Yeah. And it wasn't forceful or anything like that, just halt.
I guess
we'll
all stop.
Stop.
Hanar's gonna follow suit and be like,
I was
alright.
gonna say, like, put my arm out and, like, stop him from, like, from walking.
This humanoid, which you would assume and guess is an elf, approaches you three and looks across at you, and he is dressed quite well. He is dressed in very sleek, shiny armor. In one hand, he holds a great bow, and it does have an arrow knock on the string.
Is it pointed at us?
Not at the moment, but it's at the ready. And he approaches you three and asks, and he kind of looks, what business does a man, an elf, and a dwarf have in Eriador, so close to the House of Elrond?
Hanar is gonna look to Geniveve and be like, you know what this guy's flapping his gums about? He seems like he's got some good stories to tell, but I don't know your guys' pretty language.
Do I look like him? I don't... Do I have pointy ears?
Yeah, but you know the elves. I assume you know their language.
I'm gonna look at him and say, mind your manners.
Is he someone we're supposed to know?
And I'm gonna turn to the elf and talk to him in the native language and say, we are on our way to Rivendell to find refuge.
As you guys have been talking, he looked very annoyed when Hanar was talking.
Also, I love that I became a man for that statement. What is a man, an elf, and a dwarf doing here?
Well, Geniveve would be of the race of men.
I know. It's just
Something. Is Lord Elrond expecting you? And he addresses Elanor directly.
Okay, so out of question knowledge, because again, I have, like, no background.
That's okay.
When he says that, does he mean, like, the top, like, the ruler of the area?
Or he's like the head dude, right?
Elrond is the Lord of Rivendell.
He's the one that tells, what's your name? There's no hope. That guy?
Yes, it's all. It's.
I got that! This is my reference!
You know who I'm talking about, though? That whole scene that you're like, oh!
Yes,
That guy?
Elrond, out of character knowledge, is Arwen's father.
I couldn't remember her name.
Hanar is gonna, like, kind of quietly ask Geniveve, I recognized Elrond's name. Is he having a party? Is he inviting us?
I will also state that you are carrying, not only are you visiting kinsmen, but you are also carrying a letter written by Ciridan the Shipwright, who is the Lord of the Grey Havens, and one of the former bearers of one of the Elven Rings. And it is addressed to Elrond.
That's my introduction. We'll call it that. Here is my introduction.
And he does take it gracefully, opens it up, reads it. Then Lord Elrond is expecting you. My apologies for halting you. And hands you back the introduction letter.
Wait, so it is a party? We have an invitation?
But why do you travel with one of the Dunedain in other company?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
Along my travels, I came across some mischief, and my friend over here has helped me through that, and in return, I am helping her come to Rivendell for a short while for her to rest up on her journey. As to the dwarf, I have no idea.
Can you vouch for him?
I'm gonna turn to
I am willing to trust one of the Dunedain.
I'm gonna turn to Geniveve and just kind of ask her, kind of like with a questioning look of like, do you think he's trustworthy?
For now.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yes.
Then we will be watchful.
Yes.
I shall escort you to the Lord Elrond myself.
Great.
Let's go.
Assuming that you have been here before, he gestures for you to go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead then.
And he will take up the rear word. Alright?
Alright.
I assume he's behind you.
Yeah.
I have a question. How did we meet him?
He was drunk and just followed us anyways.
I believe Hanar has an objective, and Rivendell might help answer that objective.
Yes.
However reluctant you may want to be here.
So it has nothing to do with us. He's just following us.
I needed to get into Rivendell to get information.
Okay, so essentially...
So you're just using us.
Yeah.
I see how it is.
The Dunedain don't necessarily have formal dealings with Durin's folk, but that's not to say that they aren't friendly towards Durin's folk. Really, any real animosity between the free peoples is usually between the elves and the dwarves.
Hence why I'm being a little,
Yeah.
Because, Geniveve, you would have met dwarves before.
Yeah.
They travel to and from Erebor and back to the Blue Mountains, which is a huge journey. So you would have encountered dwarves on the Great East Road.
As we're walking, Hanar is going to reach into his bag and he's going to pull out a bottle of dwarven ale. And he's going to turn to the figure behind him and be like, "If we're going to a party, you're going to need some good, strong stuff. I brought some just for you, sir." I'm just going to hand it to him.
He awkwardly takes it. And he just holds it.
"It's the best ale you'll find. I made it myself."
I am more of a wine drinker.
"Ah, that's okay. I guess more for me then." He takes it back. "I don't want to offend your peculiar palate with its refined tastes."
He leads you up. And as you enter the Vale, it is as beautiful as the films make it out to be. It is absolutely gorgeous. Trees in all shades of color all around, seemingly in their prime. Birds are quieting down, I should say. It is becoming nightfall. It's late evening. But even in the late evening, there's this twilight beauty to the area. It creates this sense as you enter further and further and you become more and more calm. You feel more and more protected. You feel more and more secure. Almost like a warm blanket around a good-sized fire. Not too hot. He leads you into the home. And as he goes down across a couple bridges and some passageways, he asks you to wait in what appears to be a courtyard. "If you will wait here, I shall go get the Lord Elrond for you." And he departs.
And I was going to turn to both of you and say, "Alright, funny business aside, what are we actually doing here? You know I don't speak the elf language, right?"
I'm just gonna stare at him.
Like, you expect me to just know what you're saying?
The real question is, what are you here for?
I have business with Elrond. I gotta have some questions.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask him, and I'm gonna say, "And what questions are they?"
It's, family business.
He's my family. He's my kin.
My family business.
I'm here to visit my family.
Ah. So it is a party. Do elves not have celebrations when they get together with their kin?
Yes.
When dwarves visit kin that have been gone for long periods of time, we break open tankards of ale and exchange stories, brawl on the dining floor. I don't know. What do you guys do?
See, that is not my kind of party.
Oh, I seem to have been mistaken. I apologize if I may have offended anyone.
In true ranger fashion, Guinevere just stands to the side, cloaked.
Geniveve!
In true ranger fashion, Geniveve has her cloak drawn around her, hood up, and just kind of observing.
I don't have much dealing with elves. I'm sorry. I just kind of... I get nervous, and the words just start coming out, and sometimes I forget to keep track of what they are.
I've noticed.
Can I just cover his mouth? So he stops talking?
If you do that, I'm going to say thank you to you in my native language.
Hands off the beard. I just had it groomed this morning. You have no idea how long it takes to get these braids just right.
I'm just going to sigh and go walk around to look at the garden.
So, as you go to wander and admire the beauty that the elves have created, while Hanar just complains about how elves are too quiet, and Geniveve is just observing from the shadows. At this point, that same elven guard comes back, and he says, "The Lord Elrond has retired for the evening. However, he is happy to make accommodations for all of you."
That's unfortunate. She'll look. She'll look over at Hanar.
You're really going to say that out loud?
I just mumble it.
You will each be given a separate room. You are welcome to wander the grounds and gardens and so forth if you so wish before retiring for the evening. So the Elven Guard shows you each to your rooms. And as he shows you each your own room, he wishes you each a good night, except for Hanar.
Oh! I hope you fall down the stairs.
He just shows you in and then leaves.
Locks the door behind him.
So, what are you guys doing? You are in the last homely house.
I'm going to begin work on composing a poem about the accommodations of Rivendell.
Oh no! I think I'm going to wander the garden a little bit and then retire.
Okay. What about Genevieve?
Genevieve will just crawl into bed and just lay there, kind of thinking about stuff, and then eventually drift off to sleep.
I was about to say that makes sense, as Genevieve would not have this thought of bed that often. As Elanor wanders the gardens, you see a couple other elves kind of mingling about. And as you go, Actually, let's go ahead and have you make a roll.
For what? Exactly.
So I'm going to have you make an awareness roll.
No, so I have 2 marks for that.
So then
So
you add 2d6 to roll.
Okay.
So 1d12, 2d6, since you have 2.
And then you want to roll the target number higher?
Yes.
Yes.
So
Okay.
mine would be a 14 because it's under strength.
Yeah, so you roll that.
Yeah,
and
so you roll the d12 and then add what's on the 2d6.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that work if you get an 11? Because isn't 11 supposed to be really bad?
It doesn't necessarily have a punishment in this case.
Which I was going to say, is it like D&D where you roll an 11 and that's what it is? Regardless of adding modifiers?
So the modifiers are the d6s.
Yeah, but
Yes,
so if, because you guys said on a d12 roll, 11 is bad.
Yes.
In D&D, you roll a 1 and it's a 1, regardless of if you have a plus 7
in
or
this
whatever.
case, in comparison to D&D, it doesn't automatically mean a nat.
The
Or
11
critical
just
fail.
counts as 0 towards the points, so you only have the d6's worth of it.
Okay, so it's just...
Okay, so
okay.
okay, that makes
There
more
are
sense.
certain, when you become miserable, that's when 11 becomes extra bad.
Okay.
If you're miserable, then it's a nat 1, you auto-fail.
Yeah.
So what are you rolling?
I'm rolling
Awareness.
awareness, which which is a +2 on my sheet.
Oh,
Are you
we got an
freaking
11.
serious?
The Eye of Sauron.
So without the D12, I got a 6 and a 1, which is 7. So I got half of what I needed.
You got half your target number. That's a fail.
So let me double check.
Alright, Dice, you better do better next roll or I'm picking a new set.
Normally an 11 would be pretty solid.
I know! Why is it 11? Like, why not 1?
That is an excellent question for the writers of the game.
Prime number. 1, 3, 5, 7.
Well, 5's a good number. Evens are always great. But then anything after that is just kind of awkward.
You don't notice anything necessarily out of the ordinary.
Okay, I'm just weary from my travels.
Yes. And you start to think that as you kind of wander and the night goes on, you start to think that maybe after traveling for so long, a good night's rest sounds good.
Alright, I'll go retire then.
Okay. You all are refreshed the next morning. Each one of you receives a knock at the door. In
All
your
at once?
respective rooms. At about the same time.
I'll answer it.
I was going to say, Geniveve will answer with, like, her hand on her sword.
Okay. That's fine. As you answer the door, you see an elven maiden standing there.
So I'll speak to her in Elvish. I'll say, good morning.
Good morning. I am to take you to the Lord Elrond. He's available this morning.
And she'll, are we, like, assuming that, like, they're dressed and, like, ready to go?
You don't know about your companions now. You're all sleeping in separate rooms.
Okay. Geniveve will look at the elven woman and say, I appreciate that. Give me just a couple minutes to ready myself, and then I will join. And she'll close the door. And, like, get all her clothes on and, like, whatever.
Okay.
And then she'll join, like, the elven girl in the hallway.
Okay. What about you two?
I'm gonna answer it.
Okay. Same response?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So you follow her?
So I'm wondering who's going to be at Hanar's door. He's just going to go open it and just look out.
It's the elven guard.
Ah! You're back!
Are you ready?
I am. Is the party beginning now?
Your audience with Lord Elrond has been granted.
Ah. Well, thank you.
So you all make your way, eventually coming together as a little company, and you go to visit Lord Elrond, and he is seated at a table. As you enter the vicinity, he gestures for you all to sit.
So I assume I'll go sit.
I have a
How
question.
tall are the chairs?
Little steps. Scoots over.
You do kind of have to, like,
Jump.
kind of half jump and lift yourself up into the chair a little bit, but you can get there.
Alright. Hanar's going to heft himself into the chair and then look over. Are we sitting at, like, a table? Or?
Yes.
He'll look over the table with, like, his nose peeking over it.
I'm gonna make sure that when I come and, like, when I left my room, that I had the, like, introduction note with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna sit down at the table and, like, have that in front of me.
Elanor, it is good to see you again.
You as well.
How are our kin in Lindon?
Very well.
That is good news. I believe I was told that you had something for me from Ciridan.
Yes. And I was just gonna hand him the letter.
And
Or
he
the
takes
note
the
or whatever.
letter, and as he opens it, he says, "We do not have many Dunedain pass through. Rest assured that your people are welcome here."
Thank you.
And what would a dwarf be doing here in my home?
I'll let them conduct their business first. I'll wait my turn.
And he just nods and goes to start reading the letter. Until he looks at you, Elanor, and says...
Wait, would I have known what was in the letter?
That's what he asks you. And he says, were you told anything about the contents of this letter?
No, just the importance of delivering it.
It seems news has reached Ciridan, the things that dwell in Aragon. Go ahead and roll a lore check.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't roll an 11. You can do it.
I got all 3 for this one. Okay.
Okay.
We didn't
Whoa! That's almost max on the D6s.
We didn't roll an 11, but we rolled a 3.
That's okay.
And then 2 6s and a 5.
That
Hey,
alone is enough. You could have
that's
gotten 11, you
enough.
still had it.
Because that's 12 right there.
12.
Plus
So
your
that's
3.
17.
And you have...
Your target number is
Two-
14.
And she has 2 great successes on there. So the 6 acts as a specialty where if you reach your target number and then roll a 6 on one of the D6s, you accomplish your tasks beyond what would initially have been expected should you have succeeded.
Okay.
So
you extra know.
You extra
Like,
know,
excelled.
yes. Yes. So you would know, you recall that elves of your kin had dwelled, your kin being the Noldor elves, or high elves, inhabited the entire region of Aragon, down to the south. And it was one of the very few, if the only, colony of elves since the first age of Middle-earth to have had any formal dealings and trade with the dwarves of Khazad-dûm, now known as the Dark Pit, or in your tongue, Waria. However, that region was long abandoned shortly after Sauron had deceived your kin and waged war upon them. And since then it has been deserted. That's what you know.
So then what did he say that was in the letter again?
He did not tell you what was in the letter. He just simply stated that Ciridan has heard rumor come from Aragon.
And how does the information you gave me correlate to the information you said?
So Ciridan, who you know is interested in preserving lore and artifacts from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Aragon was the place where, since you got 2 great successes, you would know that mighty rings of power were forged there.
Okay.
And that the Lord of Aragon was a great elven smith named Celebrimbor. Celebrimbor being the maker, along with Sauron in disguise, of the Rings of Power. And great artifacts and great things were forged and made in Aragon.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes sense. So then, quick out of character question. Does this campaign, so to speak, take place before or after the movies?
Before.
Before.
Between
Okay.
The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay, cool. That works. Thank you. So he's gonna say that, and she's gonna kind of, like, get this concerned look on her face. Being like, oh.
And he looks at you, but then looks at your 2 companions. I did not realize that Ciridan would bring me such news. Are your companions trustworthy?
She's gonna look at them again and say,
Are they speaking in Elvish or the common tongue?
They are actually speaking in the common tongue.
Okay.
Oh, okay. What's your... Like, what are you from... Where are you from again, Savannah?
The Rangers don't necessarily have a formal home.
Well, he said, we don't see many...
Oh, the Dunedain.
Oh, Dunedain? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So are you basically considered a Dunedain?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what the Rangers are. They're a Dunedain. And you would know what a Dunedain is.
Okay.
It's men of a pristine lineage that were blessed with long life.
So I'm gonna tell him that I trust the Dunedain with my life. However, the dwarf I am still learning to know.
Elrond will need a little bit of convincing. So we are going to go into one of the mechanical adventuring phases within the One Ring, and this is called the Council phase. Essentially, this is a mechanic designed for notable social encounters.
Okay.
First, we have to set a resistance for Elrond. Okay.
Like a DC.
Resistance is futile.
So in D&D terms, we're setting a DC.
Okay.
However, it's not as simple as simply rolling a dice. So the resistance rating of a council reflects how hard it will be for the company to achieve their stated goal, and it is set by the Loremaster at a value of 3, a reasonable request, 6, a bold request, or 9, an outrageous request. So I'm going to set the resistance at 3. The second part is an introduction where the company designates a spokesperson. In this case, I'm going to say Elanor, since Elanor is the one that Elrond has been addressing directly due to her message and kinship. So Elanor will be the spokesperson on behalf of the company.
Well, this will be fun.
To introduce the company, the spokesperson must make a skill roll. The roll result determines the time limit of the council. That is, the total number of attempts that the player heroes are granted as a group to present their case before they are finally dismissed. So, in this case, I'm going to say you're going to convince Elrond to trust you as a group rather than as individuals. Yes. In Elrond's history, Elrond has dealt with dwarves in the past. And he has been more tolerable of them than other elves have been. So, in comparison to other Noldor elves, he's one of the better ones to have dealings with the dwarves. So, you may pick a skill, Elanor, to roll, and that will help determine the time limit of the council. What makes sense in this scenario, and what approach would she take to convince Elrond?
I was gonna say, so like off the top of my head, if I'm looking at it, like, not trying to metagame, but like persuade might be a good one to use. Because you're trying to get him to accept all of us, even the sketchy dwarf.
So, you see, if I was in charge of these negotiations, I would go with song.
But
I think that we could...
Also, you only have 1 point in song.
Do not doubt my talents.
Anyways, that's just...
I'm known throughout the mountains.
That's what he's saying, is he could justify using song to try and convince...
I never said Hanar was a good storyteller.
I guess that's fair.
Whatever skill you choose, you again have to meet or beat the target number.
Okay. Just do all the rolls for the entire party.
Okay,
so Abbott's the only one that's rolled anything at this point.
Yeah,
I would
true.
vote you do lore and play on his history with dwarves. Now he's had positive interactions.
I was either going to do lore or persuasion, just because like he's had that previous interaction. I feel like they go hand in hand.
So the 3 options that the book recommends for the introduction phase are awe, courtesy, or riddle.
Riddle?
If the company has doubts about the opposite party's intentions, the spokesperson can craft questions and answers in a way
so as to extract a lot of information from others in exchange for very little. Now, in this case, I don't think you're trying to swindle Elrond.
No.
So,
Heavens, no.
We get kicked out of here, never invited back.
so if you were to use lore, how would you do it? You don't necessarily have to role play it out, but just...
I like Brandon's idea of using lore and showing, like, the history of how he's worked with them before, and I'm assuming...
He's had positive encounters.
Positive encounters and things have worked out in the past. That's how I would.
Okay.
So then my question is, I'm rolling to see how many tries we have to convince him, based off of what I pick.
Yeah, so you're going to roll, and if you succeed, whatever the resultant is the amount of attempts you get.
So then my succeed would be a 14 or higher. So
Yes.
the lowest we could technically get is a 14.
It isn't 14 attempts. If you succeed, the time limit is equal to the resistance of the council as set by the Loremaster, plus 1 for each success icon, or 6.
Okay, because
This
you
is just
said
giving
it,
you a chance to
because
slightly increase
you
that.
said it at 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's the attempts that we have, and then if you were to roll
More sixes.
it would add to the... Okay.
Yes.
But the 6s only add if I get over the 14. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. So then, I think I'll probably go with lore just because I have the
Okay,
3
yeah.
in there, and it fits.
That makes sense. That makes
So
makes
roll
sense to
some
me.
6s. Ready, set, go.
Come on. You did great last time.
No!
No!
Oh no.
9.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so
So not 14.
I failed.
If the skill roll is a failure, the time limit is equal to the resistance of the council, and if the council ends in a failure, it ends in a disaster instead.
So...
Let's go!
Crap. Why dice?
Take that dirty scumbag out of my city.
Alright,
Alright,
so
so then-
you have 3 attempts to convince Elrond to divulge information in front of your companions. And it doesn't have to just be you, it can be you guys as well. I would say I'm going to give each one of you a slot to try to convince Lord Elrond. And you can choose, again, any skill, just make it make sense in the context of the game. So I wouldn't use battle in this case. Stuff like that. So, like, you can use, like, it suggested hearten, insight, persuade, riddle, song, that kind of thing. So, and each one of you can explain how you're doing that skill, and you can roll. Another thing to remember is that when you're rolling, you have 2 options on the rolls. You can spend a fellowship point to be able to re-roll the entire thing. But collectively, you have 4 for this entire session. You also can spend a hope to add an extra d6
And then that we would take away
from your hope score.
from the hope score.
So you have the permanent hope score, and then you have like the current kind of like HP.
Okay,
Kinda goes up and
so
down.
I don't actually have anything written in the current
Yeah.
hope box.
Yeah, so that's where you would write what you have right now.
Well,
Well, how do we
so
figure out
what
what we
would
have
it
right
be?
now?
It is in your heart.
Okay, so what's in the hope box
Yes, that
is the current hope.
is your current hope right
So
now.
it can be different for everybody.
Yes.
Okay. So then we as the player can use those to add a d6 to what we roll.
To what you roll. Yes.
And then we would just subtract from there.
Yes.
So,
Can you use more than one at a time?
Yes.
Okay.
But be careful, because if your shadow score ever goes beyond your hope, you become miserable
And remind me, how do you figure out the shadow score?
as you adventure.
Okay.
The shadow score has to exceed your current hope status. It doesn't have to exceed your...
Okay, so you don't want to get it too low.
Yes,
you
because
can-
the lower it is, the more likely it is the shadow is to overcome you.
Okay.
so
And nobody likes that.
then with the 3 tries, do we have to get each one correct, or is it like 2 out of 3? How does that work?
Yeah. Best 2 out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All
you're
3 of
giving-
you have to succeed.
Oh, because the resistance is 3.
Because
And
she
you
failed.
We get
You
3
have to
attempts.
meet-
So it
Oh,
becomes harder.
To get
Yeah.
3. Okay.
That makes it hard.
That's hard, but
To be
that's
fair,
an
I chose the
interesting-
lowest resistance
No.
score for you guys.
I understand what you did, but it's an interesting, like,
Mechanic.
yeah.
It kind of is. It's kind of
Okay.
unique.
I would agree. I feel like it makes it
It makes it harder, but it also, like, you can use your skill really well. So, like, for example,
It's just an opportunity to use your skills on the sheet.
yeah. So, like, for my attempt, I also want to try and use lore, but spin it in, like, the way of a tale that involves all 3 of our, like, races. So, like, I know he doesn't, like, distrust me, but I'm also, like, a stranger.
He doesn't know you personally.
Yeah, so, like, spinning the tale of, like...
The
times
merits
that
of the alliance of men, dwarves, and elves.
Yeah,
Okay.
to help convince him that we as a party are all trustworthy.
Yeah, and I will say, if you wish to aid somebody, you can do so. And if that person is your favorite person, then they get an extra D2 or 2D6. But if not, just 1D6.
Do the 6s I roll do anything?
So whatever skill you're using, you're
Yeah.
again trying to beat your target number
Okay,
for that.
so I'm gonna do...
So you have to meet or beat.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll lore.
And if you want to use hope or fellowship, just say so beforehand.
I'm hoping I can beat it because I have a...
Oh yeah, you got it.
Let's see.
That's 12,
So,
15,
4,
19.
10... Yeah, 15, 19. With one 6 on my D6.
Awesome. So as you're explaining to Elrond, you can tell that he knows this information already,
Yeah.
but it sounds like your goal is to bring it to the forefront of his mind.
Yeah.
And so he kind of listens to you politely and very, very graciously. And he listens to you and he's like, "It is true. Our peoples have been allies for quite some time." He does seem a little impressed too that you know the history pretty well. I will make this easier on you guys since Elrond is a friendly character. I will allow you each to have an extra D6 in your convincing arguments, just because.
I appreciate that.
Yes, because I have that option as Loremaster.
I didn't need it.
No, you did not.
I mean, you had a great success, so Hanar.
Pulls out
What
the
method
arrow.
do I want to?
I'm scared.
I know. This could go real wrong right here.
Right?
All right. I'm going to go for song.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Mikey,
I'm going to read him the poem that I wrote over the previous night about the reception I received, and then follow it up by talking to him about how I would like to improve the relation between elves and dwarves so that any future dwarves that visit would have a warmer welcome.
Oh, I'm scared.
Oh, yikes.
Very interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Do you just sing it a cappella, or do you like?
No, I'm not. It's through song, but I'm reading it as a poem.
That's
Okay.
fine. The song skill doesn't require you to actually sing.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It's more of a.
it'd be more
it's
fun.
kind of more of a
It'd be-
general
it'd be funnier
attitude
if you
vibe.
sang.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and
Do you
roll
actually?
that.
Do you actually?
All right. Do you want me to read my
Yes.
poem?
No. Read the poem. Read the poem. I want to hear the poem.
So this is what Hanar wrote
I
in
was
his
just gonna ask
in his
if
room
you
last
actually
night.
wrote one.
In Rivendell so fair, a dwarf did tread, but the elves, they greeted him with hearts of lead. Lukewarm was their welcome, a frosty chill, yet beneath it all, friendship's fire burns still. Now, Elrond, I know that you have worked with the dwarves in the past, and you have seen firsthand what they can accomplish working with the elves and the men together. You saw what happened at the Lonely Mountain when we retook it from the great dragon Smog. I believe that through the fires of friendship that we can forge, we can build a great alliance between the elves and the dwarves.
Go ahead and roll.
Wow.
I don't know
So-
why that gave me My Little Pony vibes.
Friendship! Yay!
So, since I have the, it's not proficiency, what's it called in this One Ring? Alright, I have the tick and song, so that means I basically get advantage on the d12s, right? No! Are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's a 2 and an 11! What the heck?
Did you roll your extra d6?
Yeah. So it's a total of 11 if it's the 2.
That's if you're taking the lower.
Well, because that's an 11, that counts as nothing. It's an Eye of Sauron.
Yeah, but with advantage, you take the lower one? Or do you
So
take
you
the higher?
probably would take the 2.
Yeah,
but
the 2 is technically higher because the 11 counts as 0.
Okay. Oh.
even with the favorite roll,
Dude.
did you want to
You suck.
did you want to spend a fellowship point?
Does that let me re-roll the...
You-roll the whole thing.
I'm doing it.
Okay, so
Screw
then
it.
so our fellowship score goes to 3 then.
Yep.
Wait, I thought we had 10 among everybody.
No, we have 4.
Oh.
Much better.
Okay.
That's a 19.
Okay. He has a very neutral expression as you recite your poem. And he looks at you and he says, "The folk of Durin have always been hardy yet stubborn, and I know of your deeds of your people in re-inhabiting Erebor. But I believe that it was Bard, King Bard of Dale, that slew the dragon, and that it was a hobbit that lured the dragon into that position. Am I not correct?"
Yes. You are correct.
Then it is good to hear that there is still some humility among your folk.
Why, yes, of course. It is quite a humbling experience to have your home taken from you and have to have aid from others. It's opened our eyes to the things that we can accomplish together.
You are most peculiar for a dwarf.
I take that as a compliment.
He just nods to you. Alright, Elanor.
So, I have a tick, so to speak, in
Okay.
lore,
Okay.
which I didn't know it did anything when I rolled for our extra tries. Granted, it wouldn't have given any extra because I didn't roll any 6s. However,
So that's that tick that you're talking about
The favored
allows
roll.
is a favored roll, which
Yeah.
means you get advantage on the D12 alone.
okay.
So
So,
it wouldn't have affected your D6s.
okay. So, and it wouldn't, I know it wouldn't have done that, but I also did technically fail. Would that have made a difference if I had technically had a higher score because of an extra D12? Or would that not have made a difference since I didn't have any D6s? If I'm making any sense.
It could have potentially prevented the failure at the beginning. Yes.
But
It's okay. It's fine.
it's
We're
in
ha-
the past.
We're already through. We're like
Right,
already
we're-
through
we're-
it. We
okay.
might as well just keep going.
Elanor.
So,
Elanor.
what skill would you like to use to help encourage Elrond to just have all members stay for the letter?
I'll probably use Persuade because lore has already been done.
Okay.
Yeah, I will persuade him of my trust in Geniveve and my, I guess,
Willingness to work with.
willingness and potential friendship with Hanar.
Okay. Go ahead
So-
and roll. Make sure you add an extra D6.
Oh yeah, I have an
Okay.
extra D6. Okay. Hope you have to use before you roll.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna use a hope dice. Add
Okay.
another 6. Just to really drive it in there.
All right.
So I got a 4, a 4, a 2, a 2, and a 1.
That's 13.
12.
You're one short.
I am one short. Are you freaking serious?
Would you like to use a fellowship point?
He's all of them right now.
Is it... if I use a fellowship point...
It doesn't necessarily guarantee you'll succeed.
No.
But it re-rolls everything.
Gives you a whole
But
reroll.
I can still use that hope point without losing a second hope point?
I'll let you keep the hope point.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
What's the
I'm
worst?
allowing you to keep all the d6s that you just rolled
Without using another hope point.
without
for
using
that?
another
Okay.
one point. Yeah.
Cool. Are you guys okay with it?
You do what you want to do.
Well, it's either use the fellowship point or fail epically.
I will say that somebody could help Elanor.
I will help.
How does that work?
I'm going to help by adding the fact that Geniveve and Elanor found me on the road headed west, absolutely lost because I've never been to this country, and I am indebted to them for the guidance they've given me, so I have no reason to harm them. So hence, they should be able to trust me since they helped me, and I have no ill will towards them.
Go ahead and add another d6, which
So I
is...
just roll it.
Yeah, which is going to succeed, though. You only need
Yeah. Another 4.
Okay, cool. So you guys, because you have succeeded within the time limit, in this case, unfortunately, it was a scenario where you couldn't fail if you wanted to achieve what you wanted, but luckily you guys were barely able to scrape by, and Lord Elrond looks at you all. He says, "Very well. The Lord Ciridan has asked me to send a small party or company back down to Aragon to look for an item that apparently was attempted to be made there. An item that was only made in Amon, far out to the west. Somebody has attempted to make a palantir. If anybody would like to roll lore, you're welcome to do so."
All of us roll 4?
Can, yeah.
Nope.
I wish it was a 6.
I have 2 6s.
I have 1 6.
Okay.
I have 1-6.
Oh,
Did you fail though?
No, I didn't succeed, so it doesn't matter.
Oh.
I was one short,
rip. Did everybody else beat their target?
so I don't know what it is.
Yes, because I rolled 2 5s, 2 6s, and a 3, and my target number was 15.
Geniveve, you have heard of the Palantir before. They are seeing stones used to communicate with other seeing stones.
Oh, the thing Saruman had.
Out of character knowledge, yes.
Out of character, yeah.
That.
Saruman had one. There were 4 in the realm of Gondor. There was one in Minas Anor, which became Minas Tirith. There was one in Minas Ithil, which became Minas Morgul. There was then one in Osgiliath. And then there was one in Isengard. In Arnor, there were 3. There was one in the Tower Hills, which, Elanor, you know about that. That the Tower Hills are looked after by the Elves of Lindon.
Mm-hmm.
So the Elves of Lindon have one. Then there was one in Fornost, the old capital of one of the fractured kingdoms of Arnor, called Arthedain, that was lost at sea when the city was sacked by the Witch King of Angmar. And then there was one at Amansul, or Weathertop, that was also lost. The Seeing Stones have not been talked of or used by really much anyone's knowledge. Hanar, you don't know what the fetch they're talking about.
I ain't never seen one in the mountain.
So you two know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Genevieve, since you have a great success, you would know that as much as they are useful, they can equally be dangerous should one fall into the enemy's hands. However, you would never have seen them. And according to this letter, Lord Ciridan believes that there was a attempt to make one in the region of Aragon. Lord Elrond looks at all three of you and states, the Palantir should not be used lightly, those few remaining. We have 3 in our possession, but 1 has fallen to the enemy. Ciridan knows not to use the Palantir in the Tower Hills. If this rumor has any hints of truth to it, this should be investigated. And he has called for a company to go and investigate. Not many of the Noldor who dwell here remember Aragon, and the few who would be most helpful I need here. So on behalf of Ciridan the Shipwright, Lord of the Grey Havens, I am asking you 3, perhaps to investigate for us. I do not ask this lightly. There will be reward for you, should you accomplish this task.
And what kind of reward are we talking?
There are items in our possession that we are willing to part with. And you, dwarf, would probably be interested in some of the jewels we also have.
I'll let you keep your jewels. I'm here for information.
He looks like, what?
I personally am not one for treasure. I came here looking for information on where to find a chap named Bilbo.
I am surprised you do not know where he dwells.
It's on the other side of the whole continent. I mean,
I would imagine Lord Balin speaks highly of him.
Depends how many drinks he's had that night.
So a dwarf of Durin's folk again comes to Rivendell to ask for my aid. How interesting.
Well, I feel like that'd be a fair trade. We find this for you, and you can help me find Bilbo.
What is your intent with Mr. Baggins, who has done a mighty service for your people?
You see, there's a family heirloom that went missing when Smog took over the mountain. I'm wondering if maybe he saw it when he was in there, because we can't find it.
Very well, if you are able to accomplish this task, I see little reason to withhold that information from you, since it seems that you mean Mr. Baggins no harm.
Oh, of course not, as long as he's not the one who stole it.
Imagine that. A burglar stealing.
And they say elves don't have senses of humor.
If elves rolled their eyes. But he doesn't do that. Keeps himself very composed because he is Elrond. So, will you undertake this quest?
I mean, Elanor is the one who speaks for us, so I've said my piece. I'll leave it to them.
I'm gonna look at Genevieve for are you okay to do this kind of a...
And we're to return this seer stone to you?
If it exists, bring it back. Or destroy it. However unlikely it is that this item should exist, it must not fall into enemy hands. And the former homes of my kinsmen need not be desecrated any further by the foul servants of the enemy.
And so after that, Geniveve will look at Elanor and she'll nod.
We find your terms agreeable.
I mean, as my wife always reminds me, I'm not much for making things, but I can unmake things real good. I'll see if I can get rid of this orb for you, whatever it is. Seer stone.
It'll be interesting if you're able to do so, if this item should exist, and if even more unlikely it should have any real capability or power to it. It will be interesting to see if any weapon you possess can unmake it.
You never know till you try.
Very well. We will help you arrange for your departure to help put Lord Ciridan's mind at ease. I encourage you to leave quickly. And he nods at all of you, and he gestures behind you where the 2 elven maidens and the 1 elven guard are standing at wait. They will assist you further. I wish you well. May the blessings of elves, of men, and free folk go with you.
Geniveve will, bow.
He nods politely back to you, as in token of acceptance.
Elanor is going to say thank you.
So, you guys begin your preparations. As you guys are going about, I'll say it takes about an hour, roll another awareness check.
All of us?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Nice.
I get a max roll and still fail. I have no d6s on that one.
That...
Oh wait, no! That's because it's the 12, so I can still succeed. I'm good.
Yes, let me double check that.
No, I succeed. Does a 6 on the d12 count?
You automatically succeed because you rolled that 12.
Yes! The only thing I could succeed with.
I rolled a 17.
Beat your target number.
Yeah, I succeeded.
So, as you guys are going about, a young boy approaches you as you 3 are together packing things up. Who are you?
Is it a young elven boy or a young, human boy?
Hanar would automatically recognize this as a human boy.
It's nice to see someone closer to my own size. We're just travelers coming through.
Where do you all come from?
Can my character, spin a story for, this kid about where she comes from? Kind of like a fairy tale? So she'll make up this story about how, about the North and, the lay of the land. Kind of tell him a story about how, she used to run through the forest as a kid and,
Oh, very cool. Go ahead and roll a song. Or I'll let you choose between song or in heart.
I'm gonna do in heart because then I get the extra d12.
Okay.
I still failed.
21.
No.
So you attempt to create this thing, but in the process, you do omit some of the darker areas of the places you've been to. You talk about how it was once a great kingdom now fallen to ruin. And so the boy listens. He seems very thoughtful about it. And he looks at you and he says, "You're a ranger."
Yes, child.
My father was a ranger. So I'm told.
Would she know But what's his name?
The boy's name or the father's name?
The father's
I don't know. My mother doesn't say his name that often. She comes to visit me sometimes.
name. You're here by yourself.
I stay in the house of Elrond.
And your mother, she is from the north?
She always comes from the south. I don't think she lives far.
Well, I'm sure your father was a good man. Most of the rangers are.
He just kind of nods somberly. Definitely a very sober child.
Yeah.
As for me, he kind of leans in. I live in the abandoned lair of a dead dragon.
He doesn't seem too impressed.
Darn it. But I do have 4 youngins just like you back there.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Would Elanor know anything about, like, dwarves and, like, their families and stuff like that, or anything?
You can roll a lore check if you want,
Okay.
but do it ill-favored.
What does that mean?
Disadvantage.
Okay.
So she normally has favored rolls on lore, so would that make it just a flat roll?
I guess that would be the case, yeah.
I succeed. So basically, what do I know about dwarves?
Hardly much. You know that they don't spring out of the ground.
So it's not normal to see him out above ground.
You have never seen a dwarven woman before.
Okay.
As far as you can tell. But you would know that they do exist.
Mm-hmm.
However, him saying that he has 4, you would note that that's a very odd number.
Okay.
4 is an even number.
Awesome.
The kid continues to watch you as you back.
I'll just say I hail from Lindon.
You're akin to Lord Elrond.
I am.
Have you ever visited the elves in Lothlorien?
No.
He kind of looks at that. Oh,
Do you know any elves from there?
my friend. She
Oh.
goes and visits her grandmother there. She's been there for a long time.
I don't really know what else to say to a kid.
Alright. Is that the end of the conversation with the kid?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
As you leave, he kind of just waves to you guys. Farewell. And you hear an elf in the distance call out to the boy, saying, "Estelle, come. Elrond wishes to speak with you." And off you go. You leave
No,
Rivendell.
you did not just do that.
To be fair, I knew who it was the second he
I
said the boy.
didn't!
I have no idea.
As soon as he said...
I have an idea, but I also have no idea.
Do you want to know who it was? Out of character?
I don't know. Based off of your reactions, I don't know.
The only reason I know that is because he's a nerd.
And you live
He's
with
a
him?
nat one nerd.
And he turned me into a nerd.
And now you guys are making another nerd.
Don't be like your dad.
So,
Can I tell her?
Sure.
Or are we not telling her?
maybe later.
Okay. DM.
Are we
decision.
gonna see him? Are we gonna see him again?
Maybe.
Okay, well,
So,
Let me see. Maybe not.
alright. So, we are now going to begin another phase called the journey phase. Right? So,
Sing this song, it's the travel song.
So I need somebody. There are 4 roles that I need people to take over. So somebody's going to have to double up.
oh, lovely.
I need somebody to be the guide. I need somebody to be the hunter. I need somebody to be the lookout. And I need somebody to be the scout.
And are these things that, like, are a skill? Or it's just a flat roll? Like,
So-
how does it work?
So the guide in a journey phase, the guide is in charge of all decisions concerning route, rest, and supplies. The hunter is in charge of finding food in the wild. Lookout is in charge of keeping watch. And the scout is in charge of setting up camp and opening new trails.
I'll be the scout.
Okay?
Is there any, like, advantage to disadvantage based off of your stats at all? Or is it just pick one of the 4 and that's it?
Well, I'm sure he's trying to get us to pick one of the 4 first before he tells us.
I mean, if that's the case, just say so and I'll be okay with it. I'm just curious.
So yeah, so go ahead and just pick a role.
I'll be the one that scavenges for food.
So you'll be the hunter. All right.
Well, actually, wait.
I'll be the guide.
I was gonna say he can't guide.
I'll guide.
Can I just say I looked at some maps while we were there. Elrond showed us where we were going.
I didn't think hunter. I was thinking like hunter, like forage.
You had rolled pretty high on your lore check earlier, so you would have an idea of where to go.
Okay,
I
so
will
then
say that.
I'll be the guide.
Okay, so you're the guide.
I changed my thing. I'm a guide.
Well, I can't wield a bow to save my life, so I don't know if I can hunt.
Well, then I'll do. So I'll do 2. So I'll be
And what was the last one?
the scout and hunter.
Lookout.
I'll be lookout.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay. This is gonna be great, guys.
Right?
So I need the guide to make a marching test with a travel roll.
No.
Yeah, that's why I volunteered to be the guide.
No.
I
I have a flat roll for that, so I'm gonna fail.
have a
Unless
favored roll with 3d6.
I will say this: if
I was just trying not to mitigate
Can I? Because she's my favorite person. Could I help her?
you could help her with that, yeah. So you can add 2d6 to that.
Okay.
That's a
No,
5.
that's not.
It's a 12. Yeah, that's
I
that's
still
your
fail.
highest target number 2 of 18.
Yeah, I fail.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
So Geniveve,
Yes.
go ahead and roll a hunting skill and a I will have you roll a hunting skill and a scan roll.
Okay. Okay, so hunting is a fail. So that's only 12.
Okay.
I feel like hitting these target numbers is, like, reasonably hard.
And then you said a scan?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use a hope point so I can get an extra d6.
So I'll say this. To find campsites along the way, I will let you choose a skill and you explain how you're using that skill to help find campsites.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Because I only have one, so I want
Hunting is, well, hunting, so.
and that one is also a thing, just great.
By one.
By one, yeah.
Okay.
So, both of my checks fail.
Hanar, would you like to roll an awareness check?
Hanar is starting to wonder if he picks the proper companions. We all picked the worst roles for ourselves. Awareness is a flat roll for me. And it's a 1!
You really are not one nerd.
I am.
Well, alright. Well,
We chose very poorly on our party.
Selection.
So, like, what
Well,
roles?
he did that intentionally.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
I told you I wanted to be the guy.
You were metagaming in that.
Is it wrong to want to play to your character's strengths?
No.
Geniveve, if you want to re-roll your scouting roll, you can utilize an explore roll instead if you're better at that.
They're hunting and exploring the same.
Well, it would be, instead of a scan, it would be an explore.
The second roll.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
that's...
Yeah.
It's one more d6.
No.
Yeah, I said one more.
Almost time.
You
Before you
put it
said
in your
one, now you have
scan.
two.
You get one more d6 from the last time you rolled.
What?
Because last time you have 1, this one has 2.
Yeah, I have 2.
Yeah, just roll. You're good.
Oh, much better. That's a succeed.
So at least we find a good place to camp for the night.
Yeah, so. What was your travel roll?
Me?
Yes.
5.
Total?
It was a flat roll, like I didn't have an 86 to add, so yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we both
Okay.
should have swapped.
Yeah.
okay. Okay. All right. So as you're traveling south to Aragon, you kind of follow. You see off to the east this absolutely enormous wall of mountains covered in snow and mist. And you all would know these are the Misty Mountains. But they are enormous. Passing through them is no small feat. It is a long and dangerous road. So you start to come you essentially just kind of follow the mountains south. And as you are journeying, you don't have a whole lot of luck finding additional supplements for food. Geniveve is able to occasionally for whatever reason, isn't able to get like a deer or an elk or something like that. But she is able to scrounge like some berries and some nuts and some roots a little bit. Not enough to keep your own stores from depleting, but to kind of
Buffer it a little bit.
Buffer it a little bit, yeah. So, and as you are journeying, you see that the road before the path that you were following becomes very obscured. So, I would need somebody to make an explore roll.
I'm low to the ground. I'll give it a look.
He rolled an 11.
Why? I swear every other roll has been an 11 for me.
Oh no.
What is happening?
You have no idea where the path goes. Just no idea.
We need to cleanse all of our dice after this.
Yeah, you have no idea where the path goes.
Sorry guys, I can't find it.
So,
I guess being low to the ground doesn't make a difference.
you guys still press forward the best you can?
Can I try and take a look myself?
Yeah, I'll allow you to do that.
Nope. Close.
By 1.
Oh my gosh.
I always get 11s. You're always short by 1.
Why are these rolls so hard?
Alright. Geniveve, you're able to kind of get, like, a slightly rougher idea of what direction to go to. Like, you have a guess in which direction, but you're not, like, 100% sure.
So she'll point that out. She'll say, this is probably the closest that I can get to the actual path where we should be going.
You guys press forward?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's either that or sit here.
Okay. So, essentially, you guys become lost in this small wood. In this woodlands. And you're kind of wandering around for a good additional, 2 days.
Oh gosh. With our hunting being scarce.
Yeah. So, it is not looking
pretty
too
for
great
us.
for you, yeah. So, but you do eventually find the path again.
Just lost a few days, no big deal.
Yes. So as you guys continue to journey, these 2 extra days have kind of wearied you down a bit more. And you kind of feel some travel fatigue coming on a little earlier than you expected. But you do eventually make it to what you believe is the region of Aragon. And it looks like about a day's distance away, you see what looks like to be some ruins.
Well, it's better than nothing that we've seen so far, so I say we check them out.
Alright. So as you guys go, you feel this fatigue coming on you. And as you do so, I need everybody to roll a travel check. Let me know if you meet your target.
Yes.
I don't. I have a flat roll and I got a 9.
Oh,
I got 23.
nice. With a great success, too.
Let's
Yes.
just say there's a reason I needed help on my travels to Rivendell.
So, edit. I think we're going to need to make this into a 2-parter. Because it's already 9.
Okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Are you guys kind of done for the evening?
Well, no, I'm just saying in general, we need to wrap it up soon because it's getting late.
I don't think you'll be able to finish it in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Saying.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't know what you have planned, but I'm assuming it's more...